The privileges that whites experience are unspoken, unseen. Racism is extremely evident in our society. People just need to open their eyes to realize the extent. The sources of power and leadership in this country come from a predominantly white culture. Racism is learned rather than born. As the song goes, you've got to be taught to hate and fear. You've got to be carefully taught. No matter what color a person's skin is, everyone has obstacles and hardships they must overcome. We must challenge people to be inclusive. While we do not deny the color of a person's skin, we should judge a person based on his or her character or behavior. We all forget that we have a beating heart.
All right, Doug, I have a couple questions for you. The first question is, what does it mean to be white in America?
Like Caucasian?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's turning into, I would feel like the minority, or not the minority, but it's like you don't get special treatment being white anymore, I guess. I feel like you have to tread lighter as a white person. You're not allowed to say things that are on your mind or do things. Kind of got to watch yourself more. That's pretty much it, I guess. That's how I kind of look at it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, second question is, what does it mean to be non-white or black? And this goes for like all minorities.
What does it mean for them?
Or what does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if this will help you, but sometimes I wish I was like a minority because I hate the way that like there's like, the typical minority, or what they call the stereotype, but people like live in that stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
So like sometimes I wish that like if I were black, I'd be like the very untypical, black person or Mexican, and I would like do my best to not be in the stereotype on purpose. But I don't know, I feel like there's more opportunities coming up for them now, and it's like, as a minority, I feel like it's becoming less, and they're being more integrated into society now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they can take more pride in being of color instead of being like ashamed of it. I feel like people can now be like, I'm proud of my heritage now and kind of boast it, I guess. I don't know.
All right, Levi, what does it mean to be white in America?
What does it mean to be white in America? Well, I can't really speak on that because I'm not a white male, so I really don't know.
Yeah, what's your perspective, like, just like thinking from the media or just like yourself
just
in
from
general?
the media, and I did take a class last semester, and we did a segment on white privilege. So in terms of, like, I guess being white, there are people who are more privileged than others, and there are some that are not aware of, some of the racial tension or just seeing different experiences from a minority's perspective. I mean, but other than that, I'm not really sure. But every white person is not the same, so
yeah,
I really don't know in terms of that. But so far, I mean, hey, that's how society is. I feel like, I guess, they're the ones who are more, privileged than others. But
yeah, it's kind of as a white person, you know or you don't know kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
That's pretty much me. I mean, yeah.
Gotcha. So what does it mean to be black or like another race that's not white in America?
Well, with me, mine was a very interesting perspective because I'm first generation Nigerian American, so I didn't grow up. I mean, well, my family, especially, they didn't grow up with the long, deep-rooted history of American history and racism and all those kind of things, civil rights. They didn't see a lot of things like that growing up. They grew up in a pretty predominantly chocolate nation, so they saw doctors who were like them. They saw lawyers who were like them. Their currency had people on there, who looked like them. So pretty much, it really never really was about like racism there. So I mean, and my parents, they always instilled education in us. So when they came here, they learned it was very different in terms of being discriminated against in terms of their race.
Yeah.
And so I learned from them. And then with me, even here, like I'm, like growing up as a kid, I couldn't, for some reason, even the African Americans here who were, they couldn't relate to me in the sense that, they were like, you're not really black, but you're just like foreign black. So
Dude,
it's weird. So I had a double I was like a double minority in a sense. I was a black male, but I wasn't really, I guess, an African American.
Yeah,
either.
it was on the Americans. Yeah, wow.
So
that's
yeah, so it was really odd in terms of, but to other society, white society or whoever else, I looked like pretty much an African American to them. No one would really know that I was Nigerian if they looked at me. So I still dealt with the brunt of like whatever they were dealing with as well in terms of discrimination and all those other things. But also from the black people, I also dealt with with that kind of discrimination as well a little bit. So, but that was more so when I was younger. But as I got older, I was more embraced with the African American community. But it's very different from most other people. So yeah. So thinking about the generation 0.5, which is what we are, we're the half, like we're kind of, because I have ties to Nigeria, but I'm also ties to America as well. So I'm somewhere in between. So my black experience is a little unique in that sense.
That's fascinating. Dude, I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, go.
Brittany Crutchfield, and I'm 22, and I'm African American.
Okay, it's okay. So what does it mean for you, if I were to say, what does it mean to be white?
What does it mean to be white? Let's see. I think it means, what does it mean to be a regular, not a regular person, but it just seems like someone that's other than myself. So when I think of someone that's white, I'm just like, okay, cool. Next part. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when someone brings that up, it's like, I don't want to use this term, but
No, go for it.
part of in my head, I'm kind of like, cool story, bro. So what else? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, all right, cool. Let's get to something that I care about. You know what I mean?
So, like, if someone were to ask you, like, what does it mean to be white? It's not really something that you associate with?
Well, yeah, so it's like I don't have a lot to say about it
Mm-hmm.
unless something comes up where race is going to play in the situation. You know what I mean? So, like, it's
Yeah.
when you say what is it to be white, there isn't a like, you're not putting it in a context.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
Okay.
right person.
So, what does it mean to be black or African American?
To be black African Americans. That's different. That's me. I can relate to that. I know what that is. I'm a person that's filled with culture that I do and what I do not know about. So it's kind of one of those things where I feel like part of me is defined by society, but part of me will never be defined ever. So it's kind of you're on this journey of, do I agree with what society feels that I should be or shouldn't be, or can I venture out and find out what part of me has not been discovered yet? So it's like, I don't know. I don't really know how to really explain what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But I have a lot more to say about it because I can relate to it.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
does that answer it?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Thanks. What does it mean to you when I say, what does it mean to be white in American society?
What does it mean to me? How long are you wanting these answers?
However long you want it to be.
Okay, well, for a lot of people, not everybody, of course, but a lot of people are privileged, chosen over minorities, I guess. A lot of them don't know that they're privileged. A lot of them do, but that's what I'm just gonna stick with.
All right. So, what does it mean to be non-white or African American in society?
The non-privileged group. There have been a lot of strides that have been made to where minorities aren't as suppressed as we used to be, but as you've seen in like recent events, there's still lots of circumstances where we just, I don't know, get the short end of the stick a lot of the time. And it does make sense because I think we're all equals and there should be no reason that one should be placed over the other. So.
Is there like a specific instance that you're particularly passionate about?
I don't know. It's not any one in particular. It's just kind of the general idea, like the fact that stuff keeps happening, and you keep seeing it over and over again, and you would think that we've come farther than we have, and we really haven't. So, I don't know.
So do you think society thinks that racism no longer exists?
I think a lot of the times people do think that it no longer exists, even though, like, I think it's just changed faces. Like, 50 years ago, you'd see people getting lynched and, or just blatantly, like, no, you're not allowed here, or something like that. But now it's more, I don't know, there's different ways of dealing with it. You see, like, people, like the SAE kids, they're saying that stuff on the bus, and you see, like, just people getting targeted because of where they come from, for whatever reason. I think it's still here, but I think society tries to cover it up a lot of the time. So,
all right, cool. Well, that was perfect. Thank you.
Yay.
Alright, so what does it mean to be white in the US?
Mostly it means that you don't have to notice. You don't even have, it means not being aware of your color or what it gets you or what it doesn't get you. I think it's something you can ignore and you only notice when someone else brings up race or whatever, because the doors aren't closed to you as often, the positions aren't closed to you as often. There's no reason to notice.
Cool. Okay. And then the second question is pretty similar, but what does it mean to be a race other than white in the U.S.? I'm trying to say something other than
anything
not white. I mean, because we define people by what they are and not by what they're not.
Right. So, I think the opposite, to be extremely aware of what is expected of you and what you have. I think that white people don't know what kind of characteristics other people see in us. We have a lot of stereotypes of other races, but we don't think, it's kind of like having an accent. I don't notice my accent. I think being anything other than white means that you are extremely aware of white culture, white stereotypes, whatever, and you're also aware of how you are seen as different and what is available to you and what is not. what is expected of you and what is not, and how you're treated differently. I think. I think it's, yeah. Yes.
All right. Very cool. Okay. So the first question is, what does it mean to be white in America?
What does it mean to be white?
Yeah.
I guess for me, being white is, I guess, just not being any other race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like kind of the absence of color. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything. You are just part of the, I guess,
Norm or...
yeah, part of your general group, unless you're, you know, I don't know. That's a really tough question. But for me, being white, I mean, it's definitely easy.
And then the second question is, what does it mean to be non-white, like African American or Hispanic or another ethnic group?
Well, I guess it means to be, I don't know what it means to be that. I guess nobody really thinks about these things.
Yeah.
Nobody really thinks about, what does it mean for me to be white or for me to be, white Hispanic. I don't know, I guess being not white, I mean, you're really underrepresented in the U.S. and in a lot of states, and that sucks. That's one thing about coming to OSU for me. I thought this was a great school, still think it's a great school, but I got here and I was like, holy shit, there's a lack of diversity. You feel like something's missing. It's sad that I guess we don't have as much assimilation, and I think it just leaves for, I don't know, a lot of misunderstanding and then, perpetuation of stereotypes, and that's how you get college-educated people who are culturally ignorant.